So let me tell you, many of you guys are gonna be like, "Well, I know exactly what you're talking about," or you can tell me about what's happening and all that stuff. So anyway, let me just go out and say it. So there's a huge problem, right? There's a huge problem with black people in the workforce or in like higher positions treating other black people bad. I've actually seen it as my last position, right? The coworker actually stepped up, right? She stepped up and she became the supervisor there because the other supervisor left, right? She changed everything. She is actually to the point where she didn't even want people to write in blue pen anymore. She wanted people to write in black only. She wanted people to it's just specific things, right? And for me, it's like I really don't give a darn, blue, black, whatever. Um, but she messed with my hours. So my hours that I had, my set hours that were fine. She actually destroyed it, like 16 hours one day on a busy day, right? She told me that if you can't handle it, then tell her about it. I actually don't care about that 16 hours. I actually don't mind about it. But it's a combination of other things. So you got 8 hours another day. You got 8 hours home. Then you have to come right back 8 hours. And then like it's just like dysfunctional. It's really dysfunctional. And it's like and it's to the point where on my day off I had to work hours because she wanted to switch my schedule even more. So yeah. So I was working, 48 hours, but my schedule that I originally had was, freaked up. It was freaked up. Um, she did the same thing to everybody there. And we're black, by the way. All of us, all of my co-workers are black. She's black too. But it seemed like the power just went to her head. It's like, this has to be this way. This has to be that way. Oh my gosh. It was just too much. Um and you know what? It's not the dog. It's not the tail that wags the dog, it's the dog that wags the tail, right? So you want people to function, but you want people to be able to do that function, right? So anyway, my coworker, she had an issue with the supervisor and her schedule. The supervisor acted like a freaking queen. Okay, that's enough, and this and that, right? So anyway, let me tell you about how she treated the coworker. She treated my coworker, bad. She didn't treat her good. She actually typed a long message, right, over text, and it actually went straight to the manager, and it went through to the whole team. And I'm like, wow, I can't believe this at all. It's like, the text message said, oh, you gave these people trouble and this people trouble and something like that. And I'm like, and I'm just reading all this stuff. I'm like, I really did not want to know any of this. And she's just tearing her down. It's like, we're all black people here. Why are we being treated such a way that makes us unhappy or dysfunctional? And I can see like why she wanted to change the schedule. She wanted to change the schedule because we had 16 extra hours left over. But I always took on 8 to 16 hours every week. So that was me, and then like sometimes that was somebody else. But I always took on some hours. How many hours we had left over? Like 16, or I think we had no, I think we had 24. Yeah, 24 hours left over because it's 3 days. So I took 16. Somebody else took 8 or whatever. So anyway, that's what happened. Um, but she bombed that schedule up. She didn't need to do that. What happened is that we were able to pick the days, right? With the last supervisor, we were able to pick the days about like what when we want to work those hours, those extra hours and all that stuff. So it was convenient for all of us, right? And I like doing that. I always usually took like 16. One point, I think I took like 24 more hours. Yeah, so I was pretty much working. But the supervisor destroyed the hours. Not because, the way it was working was perfectly fine. She destroyed the hours because she wanted to give us more, she wanted to make things hectic for us. Like as hectic as it is in her life. So she has a kid. She's a single mom. She wanted to make the workplace harder because she thought it was easy, too easy. I mean, that's at least what I'm getting from my brain. And I'm actually seeing this now, and I'm actually coming up with this type of, this type of epiphany, or what the frick it is, right? Whatever, y'all understand what I'm trying to say. I actually just came up with this right now, and turns out I found out, like, why she's doing that. She's doing that to make life more hectic for all of us, because her life is kind of hectic with her kid, and we don't have kids, right? Or something like that. And it's like, we're all black people, right? We're all black people. Why are we getting treated worse, like terrible? You can at least do us a decency or decent thing and just make it so that things that actually work stay working and stay, the same. But no, got a little bit power, and then you got to treat another person bad. Got to yell at them, got to talk to them like that, or text message or something like that. And to a point where my coworker was actually cursing her out. My coworker was cursing her out, and I told my coworker, please, don't curse her out. She's a supervisor, don't curse her out. She did. She did anyway because she was very mad. She was pissed off. She couldn't get a day off because she hurt herself, she couldn't get a day off because she hurt herself, and she needed that day off. But then again, the supervisor, she didn't want to take the extra hours. She actually told me to take the extra hours, and she was like, oh, you see what she's doing? Oh, she took this day off. She took the extra hours off. It's like, she hurt herself. I'll take her hours if you don't want to take it, right? So that's one story. I mean, I'm pretty sure she did a lot of things, and she was saying a lot of things to that girl that I don't know about. And I say she's a girl, she's a young woman. She's 19, right? Yeah, so that's one thing. Let me tell you guys. This gel is really sticky. What the frick? Okay. So let me tell you guys about what happened to me, right? I'm in a meeting. This is at my job. And I'm talking to, everybody was just kind of, going in on me or whatever. And it just turns out it wasn't a meeting. It was just say whatever you don't like about me. That's what it was. I really wish I recorded that meeting. I really wish I did. So anyway, as a black woman, she's a supervisor. She's not on my shift, but she was there anyway. She shouldn't have been there, right? She's not on my shift. She said, oh, I don't like how you said this to him. You be saying little things, and I notice how you be saying little things. And so I'm like, what little things? She's like, little things. I'm like, what little things? She said, when he's speaking to you and he's finished speaking, when he's speaking to you, you ask, after he's done speaking, is that all? And I'm like, what in the world? I was thinking, like, what in the world is she even talking about? Of course I'm going to ask, is that all? Because I don't know if he's actually, like, done giving me what he wanted to give me for that day or whatever, because I know that there's more stuff that he has to say. I know that for a fact. There's more stuff he has to say, but every time I ask, is that all? He always says, yes. So it's like, and I thought this kind of rude just to walk out on somebody or something like that. She's like, oh, you irritate him when you say that. You irritate him when you say that. Oh, that's called insubordination or insubordination or something like that. And then I was thinking in my head, like, doesn't insubordination mean when you don't want to do jack? I was thinking in my head, but I was like, at the same time she was going off, she had this look in her eye. She's black, by the way. She had this look in her eye, and it looked nasty. I don't even know if you guys ever seen that look in a person's eye before, but in their eyes before, but that's the way she was looking, right? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I didn't know that was irritating him or something like that. But in my head, I was like, what is she talking about? What is she talking about? She said something else about, oh, I see how you stare at the time clock when you want to leave. Yeah, I stare at the time clock. I don't want to be at work no more. I want to go home. I didn't say that loud or the coworker, like, oh, you see how she twists things. When I made a mistake in speaking, because everybody knows that, you know, what was happening. I told the people on my shift, which is the manager, not the manager's not on my shift, but I just told the manager, I told my supervisor what's going on. So anyway, she was like, the coworker was like, oh, the white coworker, she was like, oh, you see how she twists things after I made a mistake. And then the supervisor on our shift, she said, I see you lying. I see how you like to twist things and confuse things. I'm like, I just made a mistake in speaking. It's not really a huge mistake. I just made a little mistake and that's it. Yeah, and I made a mistake because of this and because of that. And she said, okay. And then it's to a point where she was like down like this and her hands were like this. And it's the look in her eyes. And it's the look in the eyes I seen from the manager. And it was a type of a unhappy, type of cruel look almost. You see the way he speaks to you. When the manager made the face, when he made the looking at, when the look came in his eye, let's just say, he's like, the way he speaks to you is the way he speaks to you. And something like that. But I remember the way the coworker was actually speaking to me. Not coworker, but the guy over me, right? He's the lead. The lead was speaking to me. He was speaking to me disrespectfully. And I didn't like the way he was speaking to me. But the manager knows that. The manager had this cruel look in his eyes too. Yeah, and the person that was over me is also black. So I'm like, you know, why in the world is it so easy and so common to look at a person that could be literally your family member, right? Or look at a person of the same socioeconomic status. Look at a person that could be your neighbor, right? Your friend, or anything like that. Just your own group of people, because you know your own group of people are not doing well in the United States. You know we're not doing well. So why would you look at, you know, your own person and your own people, and then you just say things that are terrible, say things that doesn't need to be said, say things that are just out of the way, or just, you know, or just to the point where you're actually going to put somebody in the street. Because let me tell, oh my gosh, great, oh my goodness gracious, I'm about to tear up, because let me tell you, when I was walking to that Justin Bieber concert, right, I saw on the streets, right, because this is a different area, I saw on the streets how there were, oh goodness, must be a mosquito up in this house, itchy. But anyway, I saw how there was an area, right? I didn't have a car. I walked through that freaking area, and I saw a whole bunch of black people laying on the street. You mean to tell me I saw a woman, right, that's older than I am, but she kind of looked like me. You mean to tell me that these people here are, you know, you wouldn't give them a chance, you'll treat them bad? I think it's because people are the reason why they treat another person so harsh is because they have it hard themselves. Maybe because the black woman that was speaking to me, she's like, oh, you have a problem with your children at home, you have any home problems, in front of a meeting of everybody. I'm like, no, and I'm thinking because it's because she has it hard at home, it's because she has children, it's because she has you know, she made decisions in her life that she has to deal with, and she made the decision, and she made it harder for herself. She made it so that she's with a guy that, you know, can just get up and leave, right? It's because of these decisions. They look at a person that's their own skin color, and then they say, hey, I want you to do bad yourself. I want you to struggle. I want you to feel freaking bad. I want you to stress out. I want you to just be bad. And if you have any type of opportunity that happens, I'm going to pounce on you in an instant, because I just want you to be low as I am, or whatever, stuff like that, right? It's ridiculous. Why don't you guys just go on and support black business? Why don't you guys go on and support each other? Why don't you guys go on and help children with their education? Why don't you guys go out and freaking crack open the goddamn book and freaking read it and try to, you know, help each other freaking decode something, help each other figure out a goddamn puzzle or something? Because this is like bull mess. Because in decades from now, and I believe it's 110%, but decades from now, the net worth for black people is going to be $0. I believe it's 110%. Why I believe this? Because it doesn't look like we're getting any better. I look at the media. Oh, look at this person. Open up their business. The first black person for this. Yeah, we still have first black people for something. First black person for this. It's like, I'd rather have 100 people with $1 million than have one person with $1 million. You know what I mean? You put that person in the news, you're gonna make it seem like everybody's doing well. You put a celebrity in the news, everybody's doing well. No, that's not true. Everybody's not doing well. That's a scam. That's not. Is it a scam? It's something. It's just false. It's fake. It just tries to make us feel better about what's going on when it's really not. It's really not a good thing. I don't know. I feel really freaking bad. The mofos on the streets. You know what? It's just to a point where, like, I'm actually kind of it's traumatized, even a good word to use for it, because those mofos on the street, they're traumatized. But it's to a point where I actually bought myself a car that I can sleep in because I'm actually scared to be on the streets. I bought a car so I can literally lay down and go to sleep in. And my own father was like, "You're not gonna be haunted." It's like, I don't freaking know that. Those people look exactly like me. God dang. I'm frustrated. And when I was walking down the street, people lift their heads up and they looked at me like as if I'm going to help them out, because although I'm not rich, I didn't look like I was poor like them, and it looked like I was going to help them out. And you know what? I couldn't do it. I wasn't there to help them out. I was just walking to a freaking concert. It's just so many people that look like me, and it just made me feel so bad. And it's like, if you're in a position of power, why the frick would you treat another person like that? We already know that a person who didn't even graduate high school or something, a white dude who didn't graduate high school would actually get a job, or a black dude with a freaking degree. So you know this, and you know this Asians that hire each other. You got white people hiring, but black people themselves, they'll trash another person because they're not struggling as much as they are. As I was sitting in that meeting, I was like smiling, I was nodding my head, I was saying okay, but inside I was like, in my head I was like, what is going on here? How is this even allowed to go on? How is it even allowed to go on? So it goes on because no one goddamn gives a crap. No, people not happy with themselves. That's how it's allowed to go on. Well, anyway, bye guys.